Good morning. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. I'm David Steele, and here's me truck today. Yes, we're back in a Mack R. And in the real world, I have spent a long time, I'm going to say I've invested a lot of time in migrating the Steele Productions Engine Pack into Euro Truck Simulator 2, but today I really wanted to get back to the States. Let's jump into the cabin. I'm going to go ahead and start up the engine. Thanks, Doug. All right. Now, a little caveat, and maybe I should get going first. That might make it a little easier, right? Okay. So we're going to go and run some live cattle today. Okay, that's all looking clear here. Okay. Right, well, let's talk a little bit about what's under the hood of this particular Mack R. So, I guess that's almost the elephant in the room, and I say almost, because under the hood of this Mack R is most definitely not a Mack engine. It does have a Mack transmission, but it's not a Mack engine. No, today we are running a Scania engine. Dum dum dum. And in fact, in a way, this is really a test of an engine definition for the migration project from ATS into ETS2. We are running a Scania DC9 under the hood of the Mack R today. And the DC9 is, well, it's Scania's, as I understand, smallest heavy-duty truck engine. As you might guess from the name, it's a 9-litre class engine. But what you wouldn't possibly tell from the name is it has 5 cylinders and not 6. Can we tell that from the sound? I don't really think so. We're using the stock ETS sounds. I don't think it sounds like a 5-cylinder. But it's one way of I suppose you might say getting better efficiency from the engine, because you've got 5 cylinders rather than 6. Well, that means you've got 5/6 the moving parts in theory, and it's not quite a linear relationship, but it does save on moving parts. I don't think I can beat this Volvo. There we go. So yes, the Mack R has been pressed into service as a test bed, and it's a little unusual to not be driving a cab over. I've driven a lot of those in both ATS and ETS2. Now, as far as specification and performance go, this DC9 is not exactly the high-end engine. Let's go ahead and get my speed down to 25. There we go. Yeah, this is the 230 horsepower version, and it has 775 foot-pounds of torque. So, like I say, it's not going to shoot the lights out. It's not going to burn rubber at the traffic lights, and it's not going to haul 65,000 pounds of cargo up a 10% gradient and accelerate, as you might expect some of the more powerful Euro engines to do. And here I mean, like the Volvo D17. And the Scania DC9, no sir, no ma'am, this is quite a different engine. This is more optimized for efficiency. And yeah, 230 horsepower, well, you might say it's more for deliveries. I think I'm speeding again, yeah I am. Go ahead and get my cruise back on. It looks like these lights are about to go to green. Yes they are. That's good. How far away from my destination? 8 miles, okay. It's nice to see distance measured in miles as opposed to kilometers, so yeah. Kind of feel a little bit bilingual. In fact, if you're British and you've driven in Europe, and you've driven in the US, and you've driven in the UK, well, you've got all sorts of units. You'll see fuel measured in litres or US gallons. If you've driven in the UK a time ago, you may have seen it sold in UK gallons or imperial gallons. Miles or distance is measured in, well, miles or kilometers. Fuel consumption can be measured in miles per gallon, and then is it UK gallon or US gallon or liters per 100 kilometers, which is as a reference is about as meaningful to me as Fahrenheit feels. Fahrenheit is a just weird scale. Yeah, divide by 9 times by 5 or something along those lines and add 6 or something like that. Click your heels together 4 times and hope for the best. Yeah, okay. So liters per 100 kilometers, the higher the number, the worse the fuel economy. Whereas miles per gallon, the higher the number, the better the fuel economy. Although, check if you're measuring US gallons or imperial or UK gallons, because US gallons are smaller. Yeah, confused much? Okay. Then we can look at weight, pounds or kilograms or tons, and which kind of ton, because there's more than one ton. I'm not going to go into that, other than to say, why is cooling capacity measured in weight, in tonnage? Yeah, I know. Anyway, here we are at Bushnell Farms. I'm going to go ahead and take this entrance. See if we can get a nice shot of the truck going in. It doesn't look like we can. My view isn't working, okay. Well, that one works. I just can't do the drive-by. Okay, that's fine. Didn't want to do a drive-by anyway. Right, well I'm going to go ahead and connect up to the trailer. So, I'll be back. Alright, we're back. So I made that deliberately short and sweet. Sometimes getting the truck backed onto a trailer is a bit of a pain. I didn't really want this to be a much longer video than it has to be. The other thing I'm experiencing is my controller. One of the sticks is being extra sensitive. I think it's a known issue with the DualShock. So yeah, it means sometimes my view will just look left and keep looking left. It makes me look like I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Well, I don't need the controller to help me with that, so okay. Alright, well, some very early observations here with the Scania engine are, yeah, I mean, it's a little down on power. I expected that. It has enough clutch engagement torque to get off the line, and that's good news. The transmission we're using today is the standard 10-speed Mack overdrive box that you get with Harpen's Mack R, and it's a little short geared, so I think 55 is close to 1400 revs in top gear, and the reason why I've gone with this gearbox is, one, it is short, but this set of ratios, or at least this overall ratio, you can find in ETS or get close to it in ETS 2. And secondly, I mean, it's logically what I would use, I think, in this case. So far, we haven't come across any gradients. I'm not unhappy with how this is performing. So I don't necessarily intend for this to be a full-blown test of the engine, but any glaring faults, any big issues with the torque curve, I'm going to pick up. And have you tried driving a 230 horsepower 775 foot-pound torque engine in ETS 2? Yeah, I think it's 1050 newton meters of torque. Speaking of different units, they talk about newton meters versus foot-pounds. So yeah, it's a challenge. And yes, I could absolutely install this into a Mack R in ETS 2, but I really wanted to get out onto the American roads. It's felt like a long time. Wider roads, higher speed limits, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I know, right? A lot could go wrong, but yeah, it's nice to be back in the Mack R. And as to how well the migration is going, it's going. one of the difficulties I'm finding, or will find, is I gotta combine essentially two mods into the one. And what I mean there is I'm primarily building the torque curves and testing the engines and the transmissions that I'm working on in ETS2. But when I do things like this, okay, it's a straightforward copy the engine definition from the ATS private mod to the ETS private mod, great. But what about things like the icons and the sound files and everything else? So when you design an engine definition and you're not going to use a standard sound that comes with the game, you have to make sure, or standard icons as well, you got to make sure that you've taken those into account. Now luckily, the Steam Workshop uploader does a sanity check, make sure that everything is in place. Something's not in place, you've got to locate it, and you've got to put it in the right location. So yeah, it's been fun, but like I say, I'm making progress. Now I think this is going to be a bit of a test, so speed limits are going to be 65 for a lot of this journey, and we have things like hills. I would say long, not particularly steep gradients, but a gradient is a gradient. And look at this, yeah, we're in 9th gear. I'm using the gearbox in automated mode, and I think we're holding on to our speed, we're not accelerating. But yeah, 33, okay. I could downshift. I'm going to let the gearbox figure that out for me. Okay, we're bleeding a little bit of speed. So, let's see if it's going to shift down. There we go. And we're still losing speed, okay. But I think it's going to hold on to 28, perhaps. Yeah, I think it's starting to pick up, maybe. We'll see. Hills like this, you do get them in ETS2, but they're not as prevalent. You often have sort of like a steep hill, a tight corner, or a steep gradient, and then another steep gradient. And that's a little brutal on the trucks, and it's a lot of low-speed work. I wanted to test these engines at a wider range of speeds. The map in ETS2 is so vast, and I don't know it as well. I think that's probably more important. I do not know the map anywhere near as well as I do in ATS. Yeah, I have something like 630 hours in ETS2, and I have a feeling I'm 7,000 hours in ATS. Getting close to 7,000 hours. Still going up this long hill. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And as we crest the hill, we're going to pick up speed. Total cruise to get me to 65. We're in top gear, just over 40. Okay. And then a downward stretch, so there's 55 at about 1400 revs. That's good. So 65. Yep. And there we go, about 1650 RPM, give or take. And fantastic. Yep, I mean that's what I expect. It's going to be curious to see how long it can hold on to 65. 65 is not a realistic speed for almost every country in ETS2. So I don't expect to be able to hold on to this speed in ATS, and I don't think I'll even get to it in ETS2. Yeah, we're actually 64 right now. Okay. I'm not going to let off the cruise right now. I'm going to let it get out, attempt to get, I am coming up to a corner. A little bit of engine brake, there we go. Let's see. Not going to downshift, going to let it figure it out for itself. Okay, now I'm going to help it. There we go, okay. This particular engine is a Euro 3 emission standard. There is a 230 horsepower Euro 4 has a very slightly wider torque curve, but it produces the same headline numbers, so it's not that different. If this engine definition is solid, and so far it appears to be, then the Euro 4 version is going to be, I guess, even more solid, if that's such a thing. Yeah, this is exactly what I expected it to be doing. Now, where's my clock? There it is. Okay, so 3:45. That doesn't look suspicious to see there. That's when my view just zipped around to the left, because the controller stick is like, nope, not going to cooperate. Dinosaurs on the left. It's a stegosaur. Is that an allosaurus? I don't know. Oh, either way. Right, let's get back on the power. I'm actually going to take cruise off. So we reach the sign. I'm going to punch the throttle all the way and see if it downshifts. And punch. There we go. Good. So it downshifts for maybe 50 or 100 revs, not much at all, but the fact that it downshifts, that's what I'm looking for it to do. So very happy with that. That's really what we need. And if this had been a much steeper gradient, you would need that downshift. And I've talked at length about the difference between how the adaptive shift points work in ATS. If you've got cruise on, it doesn't use those adaptive shift points. So if your engine definition says you can be at this engine speed in this gear, for the most part, it doesn't shift down for you if you hit cruise. Now, if you're going up a steep enough hill, it will. If the engine or if the truck puts itself into high power mode, and it's not entirely clear. I don't understand the exact requirements for that, other than loaded and going up a gradient, and I don't think you even need to be accelerating. But if you turn off cruise control and you drive it with your feet or with your triggers or however you do it, and you punch the throttle wide open, I suppose in a diesel you demand full torque, the engine and transmission will elect to downshift, and that's the sort of behavior that I really want. In other words, you hit the jungle juice to accelerate, and if you hit it hard enough, it will downshift for you. But in this case, only for a few revs. Hey, is it really worth it? Probably not. Did I benefit any time? Probably not. Do I still need to test it? Yes, because there are times when it's very useful. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it in manual mode, and let's use the engine brake. I'm going to downshift 2 gears. Okay, that's fantastic. That's really what I wanted it to do. So I think this engine, its governor is, I think, 2400. You know what? We should check that. It might be 2300. Manually downshift. Yeah, because I'm in manual mode now. Okay. Let's go with 4th gear, and let's punch the throttle wide open and see where the governor is. It'll be 2400 then, like so. Never would need to accelerate using that governor, I don't think. I suppose there might be a case where if you're climbing a steep enough hill, and you know that you can try and upshift, and it doesn't want to do it in the next gear, maybe you'll keep the throttle wide open, but you go from full power at 1900 revs to 0 power at 2400 revs with this particular torque curve. So if you need, let us suppose, 225 horsepower to keep your truck rolling at the speed it's going to climb a hill, it'll reach that at something like 1950 revs, and so you'll go a little quicker than peak power would let you, but not much quicker. So you just wouldn't use full 2400 RPM for accelerating unless you're testing if the governor works. What you might want to do is downshift and use the full revs. So you'd in a non-synchro mesh manual, you downshift, you take it out of gear, pop the revs up, put it back into the lower gear. And here, if you're going 8th to 10th, you would, well, you went from something like, you went up to 2100 revs, I think. So you need to be able to get the engine up to that engine speed, so you need the higher governor. Of course, if you're using a synchromesh transmission in Europe, things are a little different, but I'm not going to talk about synchromesh gearboxes because if you've driven a manual car in the last 40 years, chances are it had a synchromesh, and you understand that when you change down the gearbox, all that clever stuff under the hood, under the bonnet, it kind of matches revs for you. It doesn't, but it doesn't crunch if you try and put it into gear. Alright, let's take a little look at the fuel economy. Yeah, you see, we're accelerating and it's not using much fuel. It's really not using much at all. I've given the engine definition a bit of a polish. I've improved its consumption because it represents the standard game is looking for an inline 6-cylinder, so if you've got fewer cylinders, there's a little bit less friction. I've given it a bit of polish, but I might have given it too much because 7.5 miles per gallon. I've not really driven this for efficiency. I really haven't. It's under load, it's maybe 7.4 at 55. That seems a little high. I think I'll have to debuff that just a little bit. So I lifted off there with the cruise and got it down to 50. Let's just disable cruise. Ah, well that's why I left my engine brake on. So, okay, down to 40. Now, I really wanted to be driving at dusk. It's a wonderful time of day to be driving in the game. Low sky, you sometimes get a bit of a mist that comes up depending on the temperature. Yeah, really, really pretty. But with this being fairly north, I think dusk is going to last a while. If you're kind of in Texas, dusk seems to be 5 minutes and it's done. But yeah, up north, it's a little different. See if we can get a nice drive-by shot here. Well, we got a drive-by shot at least, and I don't know if that's missed. Okay, correct my steering there, and a bit of test the horn. Yeah, I think the horn works. Ooh, I like boats. Oh, it's a fancy yacht. It's not really a boat, is it? Well, I mean, it could be. It is, but anyway. Well, there's a little off-road track there on the right, but there's a fence in the way, so... Although there's a farm, I mean, I'm sure I could get there if I really wanted to, and that red car's managed it. Okay, eyes on the road, David, come on. Quick check on where we are versus destination. So we're only 19 miles out, so we've done 180 miles, and this has been a really pleasant experience. I don't think I have any changes I need to make. I don't imagine I would be trying to haul 65,000 pounds with this engine, but a 34,000 pound cargo would seem realistic. Oh wait, let's put my cruise up to 55. They've got the lighting in this time of the day, I think, nice. I would say, I'm not saying it's completely accurate. I haven't driven in this part of the world at this time of day, but it works for me. Now, I'm actually going to use this secret hidden road entrance, I think. A little bit of traffic behind me, but it'll be fine. I think, yeah. Okay, turn in here, a little bit of brake. Oh wow, brakes are a little sensitive. Okay, A lot of the trucks in ETS2, a lot of the transmissions in ETS2 have a retarder. You can do the same in the US, but they're a little less popular. And retarders, they can be very difficult to control if you have the automatic retarder function turned on. Because what they'll do is when you brake with the service brake, with your wheel brakes, they will trigger the retarder, but they'll only trigger it on any powered axles. So as a 4x2 or a 6x2, what that means is a 4x2, you've got basically 2 axles, but only one of them is powered. This Mack R is a 6x4.
It's all over now.
So we've got essentially six wheels. I mean, it's not quite 6 wheels, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, it's treating each of the pair of rear wheels as a single tyre, essentially. But you've got 6 of those, and all the rear 4 are powered. Now that means if I use a retarder on the service brakes, I'm going to be braking the rear axles, and most of the time that's actually not so bad. Unless it's raining. And if it's raining and you start to lose grip, you only lose grip at the driven wheels, and that can cause a bit of a jackknifey, oversteery type moment. I may have to straighten this up a little bit. Why am I going for the easy parking? Well, mostly because the cows can walk themselves. See if I've lost my ability to reverse a conventional truck, because I never gained it for a cab over, I don't think. Okay, I didn't really make a meal of that. It's just that this transmission has a lot of reverse gears, and I'm in a pretty low one. What am I in? Reverse 1, yeah. How many does that have? It's got 5 reverse gears, so yeah. Alright, well let's go ahead and turn off the lights. I think I'm gonna... Yeah, let's see how well we did. And let's see what sort of mileage that we got. Like I say, I think the fuel consumption is a little higher than it really needs to be. Yeah, we've got 8 miles per gallon there. That's kind of high. I think even if for a 9-litre engine, that is a little high. What I really want to do, however, is get a nice picture. It's a shame we've got that icon in the back. Let's go ahead and do this, and I guess we'll angle the wheels a little bit. Well, I think that just about brings today's video to a close, so hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you have, you know what to do. If you thought it was terrible, you also know what to do. But most of all, thanks ever so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.